everyone. Welcome once again to Day 3 action from the World Ice Hockey Championships in Germany. I'm Paul Ferguson. Richard Beaupre is here, and our live game from Dortmund tonight is USA against Finland. The Americans tied the Czechs 1-1 in their opener, and the Finns beat France 2-0 in their first game, so this one should be interesting. Both teams have a lot of talent, a mixture of young talent and NHL stars who've been around a bit in the nicest possible way. They've got two intelligent coaches, so it should be a good battle.
Should be an excellent game. Coach Matti Kainen has his Finnish side well prepared. They came into the game against France as the favorites and certainly had control of the majority of that game. Petri Alonen in the French goal was under constant pressure. The Finns look stronger. They've got good experience on defense, and they've certainly got guys that can put the puck in the net.
The Finns with Marcus Ketter will be playing from right to left, and they're still going with a fairly short squad as we take a look at Tim Taylor behind the American bench. He's been with Yale University for a long time, 9 world championships he's been involved in. His backup is John Cunniff, 49-year-old ex-New Jersey Devil coach. So a lot of coaching talent as well as playing talent for both teams.
Tim Taylor made comments earlier that he was quite pleased with the side that he'd put together. The team, unlike usual, coming in from day to day with players, it looks as though the team is pretty well set. It's got a good group of kids from university hockey and a couple of NHLers. He feels that it's good experience for the kids, and they should be well prepared for '94 when the Olympics come around again at Lillehammer.
Well, on defense, he's had the privilege of working with Beers and Weinrich, Burt. These guys have been tough up front, just to name a couple. Turcotte, Modano, Olczyk, and Waite. Doug Waite has been a nice, pleasant surprise out there. He's played well. So the Americans now playing from left to right. Get this one underway. That comes back to Beers. Beers throws it over to the far side. The Americans now starting down on the left side. We see an American team with the Monty taking a swipe at that one. We see an American team, as I said, a nice mixture of college kids and NHL professionals, as they have done in the past, but on this occasion they feel settled. Waite takes the shot. Ketterer went across the crease with his right foot. Waite was perfectly positioned there, got the shot away, and that trickles out into neutral ice territory. Going back for it is Weinrich. Weinrich puts it up into neutral ice territory. The Americans stopped at the blue line, and the Finns now get a first real touch of the puck. Big shot in there. That one is kicked away. Both teams testing the goaltenders early. Through the circle, up into the middle to number 27, Gaudreau. Gaudreau threw that in deep. Laukkanen couldn't get a handle on it, and that comes all the way back to Hatcher. Darian Hatcher muscles along the boards. Going after it is Modano. Modano can't keep it in. That bounces out as far as the blue line, and the Americans gloving it down. The long shot comes in. Ketterer took a piece of that and steered it away. A big hit along the boards. You can see Turcotte going in with a cross-check. Modano now will mix it up. Number 27, Gaudreau for the Americans on the short side. And the Americans coming out fast in this first period. Back come the Finns now, working down on the left side. 27, Timo Peltoma is in the lineup. He's taken out of the play, and both teams go for a change of personnel.
Very quickly, Modano and number 8, Turcotte, established themselves, putting a lot of pressure on the Finns. The Finns are going to find out in a hurry that the Americans are a lot quicker than the French were. On the other hand, the Americans had a tough game against the Czechs in their first game of this '93 World Championship, so they might be better prepared coming into this one.
Craig Johnson here, the number 1 St. Louis draft choice back in 1990, lets this one fly. Still 21 years old, playing at the University of Minnesota, seems to know what it's all about out there. Ketterer quick to cover up the rebound. Face-off in Finnish territory. That comes on the wing. The Americans dropping it back. Kept in nicely by Moran. A chance now. That's shot across by Drury. And the Americans going through a good early spell in this first period. Moran keeps it in. Drury combing in front of the net as that's gone over the far side. Plant. We've got the college line out there with Plant and Drury. And the Finns now breaking quickly. Sarakoski Sarakoski doubles back as far as the blue line and gives that away. Plant was way back there to help intercept, and the Americans come forward. They're looking confident. They're looking in control. Drury hit the blue line as that puck was tapped down. Slight offside on the play. Whether it's slight or not, it's still an offside.
You can see what the idea was, coming up the middle to move the puck to the outside. The wingers really going hard up and down the boards. Pass from Johnson just deflected prior to the blue line. Drury continued on over for the offside call.
Again, we're going to see some quick changes out there from both teams. A long way to go in this two-week tournament. Stay with us on Eurosport because we'll be here right until the end. May 2nd is the final game in Munich. After 1 week in Dortmund, we all move over to Munich where they're playing the Group A part of this two-team competition. And the playoff games are held over there. And then finally, when the top 4 are selected from each group, they'll play down in sudden death games, and we'll be left with 2 for gold and silver on May the 2nd.
The referees having a word with the timekeepers. They're taking a look at the lineup. There's some concern as to the American lineup. A couple of the players for the U.S. having a word with the officials.
We heard on the announcement or the PA system a moment ago, with the referee come to the timekeeper's bench, and I've seen this in hockey games before, but not at this level. Have they left someone off? That would be embarrassing, and it could be costly. It looks like Waite is saying they've got someone down twice, so there could be a misunderstanding. I find it hard to believe that at this level someone would be left off the score sheet, but I've seen stranger things happen.
Well, especially when your coach is from Yale. I mean, you wouldn't think there'd be much of a chance for error on that one.
I'm not going to touch that line. You don't have to be that educated to be a coach. I couldn't resist that because we're sitting next to Larry Hurras, who's a coach of Rouen. Fortunately, he's speaking in French right now, and he can't hear me.
Absolutely, he's in the other booth. There's not much he can do about us talking about him anyways.
He's only 6'4". We don't have to worry about him. Still some confusion out there as Tim Taylor looks on. A stoppage in play, as you can appreciate. Olchuk having words with Taylor. And the officials still trying to sort this one out. The Americans came out flying, had a really good couple of shots on Ketterer, and right now this could take the steam out of their engines. Monty, who wears 3 all the time, is getting a close inspection from the referee.
Ed Olchek trying to play ambassador. He's got the C on his jersey.
Monty, Weinrich, Olchek, all NHL stars out there, along with Jutila. The Finns don't seem to be too bothered about this.
An official from the U.S. team has just walked across the ice, and he's now having a look at the official timesheet.
Well, we can tell you that earlier today, the Canadians beat the Swedes 4-1, a good result for Canada over the world champions from last year. The Czechs blanked the Germans 5-0 on a game played live on Eurosport earlier today.
They're saying there's 20 on the list, but 21 on the bench.
We're not saying anything, so perhaps you can pick this up. A lot of nodding of heads that seem to indicate that everything is okay. I really don't think that Matikainen in his wildest dreams would want to see the Americans penalized for something like this or lose a player for something like this. It's probably just an administrative error, if it is an error. Now Tikkanen gets in there to have a word or two. The Americans, as we were saying, Richard, at the top of the program, seem to be settled already. So many teams come over with just a handful of players looking for releases from the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. But right now they seem to have a pretty feisty squad out there, a mixture of NHL players and college kids. Doug Waite, Podine, Gaudreau, Hatcher, Olczyk, Richards, Modano, Turcotte, Burt, Weinrich, Amonte, Beers. These guys have all played in the National Hockey League. And you look along and you've got Plant and Drury, college kids, out there with Richter, and the goaltender who performed so well in the first game, Michael Dunham, who's the New Jersey draft pick in 1990, now playing for the University of Maine. An excellent performance. So the college kids at this level can stay with the NHL pros, but the NHL pros are relied on heavily to score the goals and to get physical when it counts.
Well, the game sheet has now been skated across the ice to Coach Tim Taylor by Ed Olczyk. He's having a look at it.
This game is coming to you live from Dortmund. The delay has been caused by an error in the lineup. You can see Matt Kanen now starting to become a little animated. While this is going on, we're going to take a commercial break. Hopefully when we come back they will have sorted this out, so stay with us. There's no score. We've only played a couple of minutes in this one. The confusion is still there. Stay with us. We're going to take a short break. The action will continue in a moment. Back. Well, that was a short break because they've just seemed to sort it out there. We're ready to play the face-off in the neutral zone. The Finns working it down. Sidon tapping it forward. That goes right in front. Waite hammers that off the boards. It doesn't come out of the zone. Waite goes in to try to pick it up again. And the loose puck is batted by a hand, so we'll have a face-off, and hopefully we can get this game moving now. Mike Richter is between the pipes for the Americans out there. Richter, 26 years old, with the New York Rangers since 1988. Let's take a look at some of the action along the boards.
Things getting a bit rough. Two Finns for the price of one. Poilio and number 2, Hapakoski, taken out of the play by Podine.
A loose puck right at the side of the net, and number 15 there, Alatalo, almost had an open shot at goal. Alatalo was pressed up against the woodwork. The big slice from Richter frees the puck, and now the Americans start to come down on the right side. Some good forechecking from the Finns as that shot right back in. Waite comes back in to help out. Off the boards from Hauer. Amonte puts it to the far side. Amonte now still coming down. Hapakoski goes up against Amonte. Koivu working along in the corner. Amonte looks up at the referee, waiting for a call of some kind, but that doesn't happen. And the whistle blows. Another face-off.
Puck coming just outside the blue line and brought back in with the offsides. Both teams getting changes. Look at Sean Podine as he makes his way to the bench. 25-year-old who's seen action with the Edmonton Oilers. The crowd trying to get themselves into this. The pause has slowed things up a bit.
Modano pokes and shoves through the face-off circle. Turcotte went ahead over the line. The Americans missed that at the red line, and that's shot in by Salinoia. Going over to the far side is Varvio. Dumped all the way down the ice, and the chase is on now. Laukkanen, Salinoia up on the right side. Salinoia hits the blue, flips it in, but look at all the Americans back to help out. Coming back on the attack, the Americans now hitting the red line. Long shot in there. Ketterer gloves it down. Gaudreau getting a piece of that. Gaudreau follows in to do some forechecking. That comes out over the boards, and it'll be another change of personnel out there for both teams.
Both teams changing quickly. They will throughout the game. There's a lot of depth on both sides. They can play 3 or 4 lines without a problem, so there's no point in not changing quickly. Referee Bukarev seems to have things under control now.
Took a while to sort out that delay, but the game now well and truly underway. No score in the first period here. The Americans against the Finns. The Americans moving from left to right in case you've just joined us. Tikkanen gets set for the face-off. Olczyk does the honors for the Americans. A chance now. And Waite does a lot of slashing there on Hämäläinen. Hämäläinen taken out of the play. Waite, some great forechecking, trying to get it out front. Olczyk was standing there all on his own, and the puck didn't come his way. The Finns seem to be confused in their own end to push in there from Beers, and that didn't free the puck. Coming down is Korpisalo. Korpisalo throws it out front. The loose puck is there. Korpisalo, the shot comes in. Richter watches that as it goes in the corner. Peltema threw it back out front, and the Americans now start out with speed. Amante slows it down and throws it over to the far side. The Americans using the boards. Waite takes a hit. Modano loses his stick. That gets caught along the boards, and both teams start to get a little physical out there. Getting set now for the face-off just outside the Finnish zone, and the Americans with Drury. Drury backhands it off the boards. Sacco goes in after his man, and that's pumped all the way into American territory. Drury whistles that the other way around, and the Americans now trying to get it out of their own zone. Flipped right back in behind Richter. Going after it is Moran. Moran was spun around. Coming out with it now is Richards. Richards trying to get it out of the zone. He does. Gives it to Sacco. Sacco one-hands it through. Coming up quickly now to Plant. Plant taken out of the play nicely. And the Finns now pick it up. Finns coming back on the attack. Sarakoski picks up the puck at the blue line. He's poke checked, and the play reverses direction. Laukkanen taps it back along the blue line. Sarakoski, or Hapakoski rather, losing control on the far side. The pass was intended for Sacco. That didn't happen. And Vidakoski now tees it up, takes the shot. Took a deflection off of Bertz, and that goes high.
Good quick turnaround from defense to offense by the Finns. Vidakoski took a bit of time with the big wind-up. The Americans, with plenty of numbers back to defend, deflected that up into the crowd. Face-off coming just inside the American blue line.
Koivu steps into the fray along with Modano. The Americans win that one, and Gaudreau or Hatcher picks it up. Laukkanen tapped it forward. No real pattern to the play here in the first period yet. Both teams yet to settle down. Palo shoots it in. Hatcher, 6'5", tried to bring it out. Modano having problems. A chance now for the Americans, or for the Finns rather, and Palo just couldn't get a handle on it. The break for Modano. Modano trying to use his size and weight to steer himself against Laukkanen. Ketterer goes down. Out front is Turcotte. Waiting there was Gaudreau. And Koivu with a little head fake, threw it back and put himself in trouble. Now Koivu tried to get it up to 15. Alatalo. Koivu is a nifty little mover out there. Keep your eye on Palo too. This guy can put the puck in the net. Turcotte has Gaudreau on the left wing. And Modano with the big reach going in now. Takes the shot. Ketterer's there. The return shot came in. And eventually gloved down by Ketterer. Modano with that big reach and the big stride. Broke free for just a moment, but this guy came up big.
Great display of reflexes from Marcus Ketterer. First save coming on Modano as he's on the fly. Ketterer seems to be sliding into no man's land. The rebound is there. The Americans still can't put it in with a good second shot from Lazaro.
So Ketterer being tested early. Ketterer, the 5th round Buffalo draft choice in '92, always comes up big in the World Championships.
Started this year's games with a shutout over the French, who didn't have a lot of quality shots on him, but there were a few good opportunities, and he's got 1 win under his belt and a shutout, so he's come into this game ready to play.
Podine spun around in the corner. That comes to the hash marks to Salinoia. Salinoia tips it through. Nieminen poked off the play nicely, and the Americans coming back in numbers. Some good stuff from the Americans out there. Waite, who's got a lot of moves, threw it up onto the wing. A nice drop pass back. Taken out of the play there is Weinrich, but he recovers, gets it through, and now the Finns come up. 3-man crossing the blue, crossing the red. Nieminen takes the shot. Richter's way out of his net to smother it and force the face-off. Richter way out of the cage. Comes up big.
Finns haven't had a lot of pressure on Richter, but a couple of quality shots from them. This is a good opportunity just inside the blue line by the time the shot is taken. Nieminen gets all of that one. Richter has a good sight of it all the way and doesn't have any problem with it.
From the face-off now, going after it is Travis Richards, University of Wisconsin player. That's thrown rink wide, and the Americans with Morin trying to break free. He can't do it. Going after it is Johnson, but he's taken out of the play. The Finns now have something to say about it as Peltoma moves down quickly on the left side. Sacco overskated that. Peltoma couldn't get a stick on it, and Sacco gets it free to the far side. Richards took a shot, ended up behind the net, and the Finns now start to pick up their game. Peltoma tipped that free. All the way back now for number 7, Morin. Morin starts it up. He didn't play a lot against the Czechs as that's tipped through. Plant couldn't hang on to it. A lot of play here in the neutral zone as both teams close each other down.
Passing isn't as crisp as it could be either. A lot of bouncing pucks and guys overskating the play.
Utila fed that through, and that goes over the top of the net. An intelligent play by Utila. The Americans tried to break out, but the referee got in the way. And we have a whistle on the play. That was close. That went over the top of the cage. No prizes there for guessing who this guy supports. Let's look at this collision.
It's one of the best hits of the tournament. Modano going head on into the referee.
Excellent action there around Richter as that sailed over the net. Face-off now in the zone. Sarakoski gets it all the way back. Shot. Richter again gets in front of it. Hatcher double-teamed in the corner. Sarakoski and Ria Järvi are there. Sarakoski comes up with the puck. This guy can motor. The shot comes in. That went off a skate, and the Americans now start to pick it up. Modano trying to get it up forward, but Laukkanen had a say about that. Laukkanen got the stick in. Gaudreau was the intended receiver, and back comes Vidakoski. Big shot in there. Hatcher gets it in the circle. The Americans unable to connect with the pass, and back forward is Hämäläinen. Both teams changing on the fly. Modano goes in after his man. Big hit by the 22-year-old Minnesota North Star. Howard shoots it in. Both teams still finding their feet out there. The shot from Beers is not a difficult one for Ketterer. And back forward is Weinrich. Weinrich throws that up. A chance now for Waite. Quick shot. The wrist shot is gloved down by Ketterer, and quickly everyone moves in to have words and a few shoves and pushes out there. I've been impressed with this guy Waite, who went from New York to Edmonton just before the trade deadline, March 22nd. This guy can move. He's got a quick release.
22 years old with good size. Going around the outside, electing to shoot while he's on the move, right into the glove of Ketterer. There's no rebound on the play, and both teams had 2 or 3 guys involved in a little minor altercation after. The whistle had already been blown.
Still no score in this first period. The Americans against the Finns. Officials are not happy with that face-off, so we'll do it all again. This game is coming to you live from Dortmund in Germany. The Group B of the two groups out there. The Group A, 6 teams competing in Munich all week. Koivu in the face-off circle. That comes back. The American Beer couldn't hang on to it. And it's tipped over to the far side. But Palo, Alatalo, dances along the boards, being hit there by Weinrich. Weinrich goes in heavily. Alatalo and Koivu now start to mix it up. Some good stuff from the Finns. Palo is working right out front. Eventually Waite comes back to tie him up, and that bounces by the side of the net. Some chopping there by Alatalo. He's giving as good as he gets out there, and the Americans gain control and take it out over the blue. Waite still motoring. Waite, a chance to shoot. Waite goes around one man, put it right in front, and that was deflected. Amonte was right there. Palo brought it out of the zone. A chance as Amonte spins around, and eventually it's dumped into the corner right on the hash marks now, and the Finns bring it out. Back on the attack is Koivu. He's steered away nicely by Hauer. And the Americans, with 3 guys on one side, throw it up on the boards. Vidakovsky goes for a change, but not before he dumps it to the far side. Big shot. Richter gloves it down. Richter, 2 Richters out there for the Americans. Mike and Barry. Mike is the goalie. Laukkanen gets back. Jutila is there. Jutila gave that one away. Johnson lost out to Nieminen. And the Finns now come back in numbers. Varvio. Richter bounced that off a loose puck, and that bounced in the circle. Drury got it away, but it's not out of the zone. Right in front, the shot comes in. Varvio let that one rip from point-blank range. Richter was there. Drury on the right side. Drury starts it off over the red, tries to bring it into center ice, and Laukkanen was too clever for him. Thrown over to the far side now. Burt spins around. Varvio picks up the puck and puts it over the red line. The Finns now gaining in momentum as this one goes on. Jutila so good at setting these plays up. Put that one right through. Now again, Siren tapped it through. Back on the attack now. Turcotte lets it ride. Bounces off the backboards, and the Finns started up the other way, only as far as Hatcher. Hatcher muscles along the boards. Tikkanen fakes the shot, lets it go, and Richter is there. That bounce over to the far side and eventually comes back into the American zone. Some good hits out there, some good shots. This game is starting to boil over here. Both teams are throwing their weight around, starting to play some good hockey, and this is what everyone anticipated.
This is excellent hockey to watch. You can hear the bodies banging off the boards, but this game is certainly wide open. Both teams are going up and down the ice, getting great shots, and really starting to move the puck around nicely. Tikkanen with a good opportunity on that play. Earlier, the Americans had a great charge up the ice, and Turcotte's blast was just wide of the finish goal.
Modano wins the draw and gets it all the way back into USA territory. A lot of support here for both teams, rather. Beers put that through. A chance now. Big shot. Ketterer is there. Modano getting the lumber on that one. This guy is tough to beat.
Both teams electing to use the long slap shot at the moment. The rebounds are there, but the defensemen are doing a good job of picking up the extra men coming in. They're letting the goalie see the long shot. And as a goaltender, they'll handle them all night as long as they can see them.
That's very true. Goalies really don't mind shots from that distance as long as they can see them. Podine goes into the penalty box. Jutila picks it up behind his own goal. Interference is the call on Podine. Peltema is brought down in neutral ice territory, so that cost Podine 2. The shadow out there comes from Ed Olczyk. A chance now for the Finns as Sarakoski trying to throw it over to Ria Järvi. Ria Järvi skates backwards to the hash marks. That's pumped across to the far side. The fake shot. Laukkanen Nicely into Ria Yarby. Ria Yarby setting it up, putting it back behind the red line. Back to Ria Yarby. Surakoski skating out there. Beers doing some work, trying to get his stick in. Play slowing right down. Big shot from way out. Waite could only get it as far as the blue line, and eventually it's tapped away. And the Finns very adept at setting this one up. Perhaps not enough movement for some people out there. Salinoja hits the red line, slams on the brakes, eventually gets it up on the wing, and a chance now as Burt goes back. Burt whistles that along the boards, can't get it out, and the Americans start now. They've got a chance. A big break for the Americans, a breakaway here. Ketterer goes back, the backhander goes, and that ends up on the side of the net. Turcotte, oh, he had the speed there. Let's look at this again.
The odds would have favored Darren Turcotte scoring on this play. You could see it happening. He was moving away from where the action was. The pass was nicely fed through to him. He elected to go to the backhand. Ketterer did well to stay with him and got a piece of it. Siren had tried keeping the puck in at the blue line and been caught. The Americans came out quickly. Turcotte was on the move and almost had the first goal. It would have been a shorthanded effort for the U.S.
Bodine still in the penalty box for interference, and that's shot down into Finnish territory. A chance now for the Finns to regain their composure, bring it out over the blue line. The long clearance in, going back for it is Hatcher. Hatcher taps that up as far as the blue line, but that's an offside call. A good officiating call there, if you can use that phrase. Offside was the call, and they called it correctly. That's what I'm trying to say. Earlier on today, the Germans lost their cool as they were blown away by the Czechs. Everyone blaming the Canadian referee, but the way I saw it, most of the calls he made were done correctly.
Well, the German people we talked to seem to agree that the call was made properly and the player did deserve to be ejected.
Nevertheless, a lot of debris was thrown onto the ice. If you didn't get a chance to see that game, the game was delayed for some considerable time. A chance now for 14. Johnson's taken out and tied up by Hämäläinen. A wraparound almost comes now. The Americans are back at full strength. Some good forechecking there by the Americans, and Koivu slows things down, takes it back behind his own net. Johnson still forechecking for the Americans. They've successfully killed off the penalty and almost scored a goal in the bargain. Thrown right up, intercepted there by Sacco. Sacco, who's having a good first period. That comes through to number 14, Johnson, and there's going to be a penalty on the play. The Americans will throw the puck around. The Finns touch it, and the whistle blows. The Americans not interested in hanging on to that to pull the goaltender off.
There wasn't any question about the call. Americans keeping the puck in the zone. Hämäläinen on the defense, caught flat-footed just for a second. The American was on the break. Johnson starting to move to the goal. The hook was put on him, and now the Americans will have an opportunity for a power play.
So power play situation, and the number one man goes in. Modano, Mika Alatalo, hooking is the call. So he sits for two, and Modano and Waite and Amonte take up their positions on the line out there. Modano has moved back onto the D, and in the first game we saw him letting the shots fly from 60 feet out. This guy can motor too, so he'll be moving up front. Modano shoots it in, and it's always dangerous when you've got a forward sitting on the blue line position, because he never remembers half the time where he's supposed to be. They have a tendency to wander.
Alatalo given that penalty. I actually called that as Hämäläinen, as he had his man well hooked up coming off the boards. Oh well, the ref and I both saw a hook, but he got the other guy instead of the one that I called.
Amonte along the right side. The box is set up. The Americans throw it back behind the red line. Laukkanen couldn't get a handle on. The big shot in there from Weinrich. That deflected high. All the way back to Weinrich again. He puts it to the far side, and Modano was coming across into center. Waite came to the rescue. Waite being shadowed by Vidakoski, and Weinrich couldn't keep it in. Weinrich, a good 360 there to bring it quickly back over the line. Weinrich Pumps it over to the near side. A chance now for Amonte as he steps over the red line. Put over the far side to Wait. Vidakoski moves in. Some good stuff by Jutila, but he still doesn't get it out of the zone. Now at the second attempt, the Finns clear it out.
Vidakoski working very hard on this penalty kill situation for the Finns. He's all over the ice, really forcing the defense out by the blue line. The Americans are going to have to work the puck down low.
Koivu put a big hit on Madonna just after he released the puck. Amonte is there, dropping it back for Turcotte, and he fell, just couldn't get the stick on it. The Finns now with a good opportunity. Koivu moves down on the left side, dropped that back into the middle. The big shot came, and it didn't get as far as Richter.
Nicely blocked by Weinrich as he goes to the bench for a change. 3-on-2. The Finns getting away with one on the Americans.
Tikkanen goes for the short side, and another great goaltending move out there. This time it's Richter who comes up big. And again, we see the team with the man advantage getting caught out there.
Again, the Finns get away with one. Tikkanen stripping the defense, coming in on the goal. Percentages are in his favor once again. Pulls the puck backhand to forehand. Excellent job by Richter. Quite possibly he's seen that one in practice a few times. Tikkanen and Richter play on the New York Rangers together. It didn't fool him nevertheless, and the Finns don't have anything out of it.
Good move by Richter to stay with Esa Tikkanen, who, as you said, moved from Edmonton to New York Rangers and wasn't able to put that beyond his teammate back in the NHL. Face-off deep in American territory. Darian Hatcher up the middle. Finland are back at full strength. The shot comes in. That bounces off the boards. Podin couldn't get a handle on it. Turcotte is there. Turcotte along the boards. Nieminen doing some good stuff to get it out of the zone. Nieminen there with Alatalo. Turcotte still hanging on to that puck, and eventually Nieminen comes up with it. Nieminen being shadowed by Podin. The Americans have turned their lines around a little out there. Salinoia threw that one up on the right side, and the Americans getting back in numbers. Nieminen, now Salinoia. The Americans still trying to get it out of the zone. Penalty on the plate. A chance for the Americans, a 3-on-2 situation. The loose puck is right there. That's batted down right in the crease. And eventually, with the arm up and the goalie gone, the whistle blows. The penalty going against Finland.
The puck was bouncing like mad. Derek Plant was in front of the net just waiting for it to come his way. He finally reaches out to get it himself, and the Finnish stick just gets in there to deflect it away. Now the puck is still going crazy. Ketterer's got a beat on it, and he holds on.
Well, shots like that can be a nightmare for a goaltender. They come through the air like a knuckleball, as we've said before. And Ketterer rather was equal to the task.
Goal scoring leader Varvio in the penalty box for Finland. The Americans with the power play.
Modano, who's moved back to the blue line, puts it up on the right side. Wait gets it back to Modano. Big shot right in front of the goal. Two Americans perfectly positioned. Laukkanen trying to get away from Amonte. Laukkanen taps it forward, trying to get the puck up to Vidakoski. That didn't work, but he got it out of the zone. Modano. Tikkanen shadows. Tikkanen doing what he does best out there. Killing off penalties. Tikkanen stays with his man. Modano gets over the red line, fires it in. Olczyk along the boards with Laukkanen. Olczyk moves in a hurry. Laukkanen picks himself up. Oh, that could have been dangerous. He didn't know that Olczyk was right there. That trickled down the ice. Time running out in the first period. Still no score in this one. Take a look at Varvio, but play is continuing out on the ice. Modano with one good move to get around Sarakoski. That's thrown over to the far side. Olczyk takes the shot, and that bounces off the backboards. Hapakoski took a swipe at it and golfs it all the way down the ice. Still the Finns with a man in the penalty box. Time ticking down on the period, and again, the Finns not allowing the Americans to settle out there. A change of personnel for both teams. Back on the attack, the Americans now. Drury waits for support. Drury moves in, a nice pass back, and Drury takes up his position in the corner. Turcotte shot that in from close in. Right in there is Drury. And there goes the buzzer as the Americans continue to apply the pressure out there, but neither team able to come up with a goal.
Das, meine Damen und Herren, Ende des ersten Spielbereichs Finnland, USA, Spielstand 0:0. And first period at a score of...
Drury buzzing around the front of the net with Plant right near the end, but the Americans ran out of time. Ketterer in the goal for Finland, Richter for the Americans, both coming up with big periods. Each of them saw long shots, a couple of breakaways each. They're right into this game, and it's a 0-0 score.
I think points would have to go in favor of the goaltenders in this competition. From what we've seen, they really have been good. Dunham, Richter, Ketterer, Ilonen, Riza, all these guys are shining out there, and they're letting the teams know that they don't have to worry about goaltending. All you have to worry about is putting the puck in the net. We've got 2 periods of ice hockey to go from Dortmund. So stay with us. We're going to take a short break now. You can see confirmation of the scoreline between Finland and USA. We'll be right back with more action in a moment. Back to Dortmund. Paul Ferguson here with Richard Beaupre. USA against Finland. No score after 20 minutes of play. Some good goaltending from Marcus Ketterer and Mike Richter. And again, we see wide open hockey on Eurosport.
The Finns coming in with 1 win, the U.S. with a draw. Both teams are going up and down the ice very well. It's a good contest, very evenly played in the first period.
Well, earlier today from Dortmund, we saw the Germans take on the Czechs. And for 1 period anyway, the Germans stayed with the Czechs. And then, as I said, in the game, the wheels fell off the wagon. Russell taking a big shot there. Kastak coming in to put the puck in the net right from the face-off. Dolezal was quick to react. Everyone else stood around. The third goal coming up here for the Czechs. Herbeck, a little tip, that's all it needed. And after 2 periods of play, it was 3-0 for the Czechs over the Germans. After a confusing and delayed third period, Tupal positioned himself right in front of the net, number 24, a big shot from way back at the blue. And Tupal got a goal. Holland set it up, and that made it 4-0. Keep your eye on now number 27, Baranek. That's number 5. Baranek just over from Philadelphia, making it look so good. Now we look at a game played earlier today, the Canadians against the Swedes. The Swedes, who won this tournament last year, were under pressure from the beginning. Sanderson made it 1-0 in the second period. The Swedes take a while to get going in this competition. Ulen leveled the score again in the second period on a penalty shot. Sanderson gets his second goal. That's in the third period, and it's 2-1. Gartner plays for the New York Rangers, just golfs at that one, makes it 3-1. And then it's Brindamore's turn. Rod Brindamore lets the shot go from close in with 1 second to go on the clock. 4-1, the final score. And this is the way it looks in Pool A.
Canada with 4 points from 2 games, 6+ and 1-. They're off to a good start. The Russians with 3 points. The Swedes a disappointing 2 points after 2 games. They've got a lot to do. Italy with 1 point, 1 game played. The Swiss and the Austrians without any points. The Austrians with 2 losses. The Swiss have lost their first game.
The Italians had a great start, tying the Russians 2-2. Can they keep it going? Everyone feels that it was a bit of a fluke on the day, but hey, to tie the Russians at any time is good news. So the Canadians are out front. That's how it looks in Pool B. The Czechs, the Finns, the Germans, USA, France, and Norway. The Czechs are looking strong after their tie against the Americans. The Finns have a lot of potential. The Germans were beaten soundly after they beat the Norwegians 6-0. The Germans taken out of the game today by the Czechs, and the Americans there in fourth. They've only played one and they tied the Czechs. So they're playing right now against Finland. If you've just joined us, France and Norway struggling at the bottom of the table.
The French and the Norwegians are definitely up against it. Leading goal scorers, Khomutov, no surprise there, a goal and 2 assists for 3 points. Kaminski and Bykov right there with him, 2 points apiece. Hilger from Germany off to a good start in the game against the Norwegians. Lindros for the Canadians with a goal and an assist. Mutala, the big defenseman from Finland, off to an offensive start himself, a goal and an assist for 2 points. Jeff Sanderson with 2 lovely goals for the Canadians.
Well, we're going to take a break. We've got action coming up from Dortmund in just a minute, so stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Dortmund as we get set for the second period. Still no score in this one between Finland and USA. It's been wide open. Both goaltenders have been sharp. Tomorrow, more action on Eurosport from the World Ice Hockey Championships in Germany. The Germans against the French and the Czechs against the Norwegians. So we get a chance to see the Norwegians in action, and the local rivalry between Germany and France. Those teams are probably evenly stacked for this tournament. I don't know if the Germans would appreciate me saying that, but that should be an interesting game. I have a feeling the Czechs will walk all over the Norwegians, but only time will tell. Anything can happen in a tournament like this. This one is still 0-0, and that seems to be the way games are going. They're taking a long time to settle down, these teams, and a lot of time to beat the goaltenders.
The goaltending has been sharp from the start of this tournament. Going back to what you were saying about the Norwegians, they've really got to pick things up. I mean, with the Olympic Games coming up next year in their home country, they certainly don't want a real poor performance to be leading their media into the push next year in the build-up for the Olympic Games.
The last place team in this competition will be relegated and will have to play off in a playoff round in September to see who goes into the Olympics in Lillehammer in February, but that will not be the Norwegians. The Norwegians, if they come last, will be relegated, but they'll still be in the Olympics. Also in that playoff round will be Great Britain, who won Pool B over in Eindhoven, and Holland went undefeated, along with Latvia, Poland, Japan, and the team that finishes at the bottom here. Well, some guys bring girls to ice hockey matches. This guy's got a friend of his own out there. What's he going to do with that?
I don't even want to know.
Maybe we're going to have crocodile sandwiches all around. I'm not going to use that joke about making them snappy, though.
No, I wouldn't suggest that.
Getting set now for the face-off. The Americans will play from right to left. Still no score in this one as we get set for the second period. As I said, a wide open first period. Both teams had their opportunities. There were breaks there as Olczyk now moves in. Olczyk fires that all the way back to the blue line. That's tipped right back in. Olczyk trying to get that away from Hapakoski. And now Finns are back at full strength. Varvio steps on the ice. Olczyk right at this side, waiting for the puck. Järvi goes after his man. That's whipped around to the bottom of the circle. And the Finns happy just to dump it all the way down the ice. Icing is the call.
Period starting out quite casually. Varvio didn't even really hustle out of the penalty box. Both teams changing to get fresh bodies on the ice.
Good look there at the coach for Finland, Pentti Matikainen. 42 years old, been the national coach since 1987. Picked up the silver medal last year in the World Championships.
The Finns felt a bit unlucky. They went 7-0 and didn't walk through their first 7 games, but they certainly played like a team that was on a mission for a gold medal, and then they were soundly beaten by their rivals, the Swedes, 5-2 in the championship game. The Americans, on the other hand, finished a disappointing 7th place, and Tim Taylor isn't going to be happy with that low of a position in this year's games. Come on.
The last time the Americans won gold was back in 1960. And the last medal of any kind was a bronze in 63. 60 was Lake Placid. Sorry, 80 was Lake Placid. Let's correct that, but that was an Olympic one. And 63 was Colorado, I think, if I'm getting this right. But the Olympic gold medal, we're not going to count it in this World Championship here. Face-off deep in Finnish territory. That goes back in behind the line. Laukkanen picks it up. Laukkanen brings it out down the left side. Laukkanen tipping that forward. The check comes in from Gaudreau. Gaudreau taking Laukkanen out of the play. A big hit, or was it a stumble? Hatcher went flying face first. Hatcher picks himself up and throws the puck around onto this side. Finns keeping it in with the backhander there, intended for Korpisalo. He let that ride. Burt to Hatcher. Tikkanen doing the forechecking for the Finns. Jutila moving way up from his blue line position. Taps it over to Peltoma. Peltoma, Burt takes him out of the play. Peltoma taps it back. Peltoma missed the first game. Big shot coming in. Richter, a chance for another shot. Ria Järvi, Korpisalo were there. And the whistle blows for cross-checking.
Korpisalo with a great opportunity in the slot. He had time to get the full windup off, but it was right into the pads of Richter. Play getting tough along the boards. Burt rubbing his man out of the play. That's Peltoma, who's very aggressive for the Finns. Darian Hatcher is the man who was guilty of cross-checking on the other side of the net. He'll go to the penalty box, and now the Finns are on the power play.
Darian Hatcher, 2 minutes for cross-checking.
From the face-off, Plant couldn't contain that. It comes all the way back. Laukkanen fakes the shot. The return pass to Laukkanen. Again, he taps it in. Jutila starts moving towards the goal. The long pass over Jutila is there, and he couldn't put it in the open corner. Richter got over there just a second late. Vidakovsky along the boards had trouble containing that, and a break now. Plant's going down. He's chopped off the play by Ria Järvi, and the Finns break quickly over the blue. The drop pass. Drury sets it up in front. The loose stick is lying around there, and the Finns set it up with a long shot out by Beers. That goes only as far as the blue line. Waiting out front is Hauer, and the Americans have the box. Vidakovsky cruising in front. Ria Järvi. Jutila again breaks towards the net. Ria Järvi fakes the shot, passes it in. Vidakovsky is out front. Ria Järvi takes the shot. The rebound comes out. Vidakovsky tried to get it on the backhand side. That was a bouncing puck, and it's eventually shot all the way down the ice with that broken stick still lying across the red line.
The Finns like to work the puck back to the point for the big shot. They'll have men in front trying to tip it in or screen the goalie or whatever you can have. The Americans are keeping the box out a bit higher now to prevent the big shot.
Comes back to Hapakoski. Hapakoski breaks through the middle, tried to pass it over into the corner. That didn't work.
Exactly done the right way. The puck went to the high point in the umbrella. The player started to skate through. The Americans quickly closed it right in and gave Hapakoski nowhere to go.
Siren to Varvio, and he lets the shot go, and Richter comes up big again.
You've got to like Varvio, the leading goal scorer for the Finns last year, the leading goal scorer in the games. 20-year-old kid who's really got a bullet for a slap shot. Does he ever get this one off? Richter taking a look into his glove to make sure it's there, and he's got it.
Face-off now in USA territory as they continue to kill off this penalty. Nieminen couldn't win the draw on that occasion, and the Americans will get it out of the zone as that comes into neutralized territory. The Finns bringing it right back in. Varvio going up against Weinrich. Weinrich and Varvio square off. Golfed away by Waite. That comes back to the blue line. Siren keeps it in. USA back at full strength, and the Americans now with a golden opportunity. Salinoya got his stick in there nicely. Burt picks it up. A chance now for the big defenseman, throws it over to Waite. Waite tries to stick handle his way through the circle and just couldn't get it away. Amonte neatly passed it over onto the right side. The return pass into Waite, back to Amonte. Amonte right in front, Waite is there! How did he not get that one?
Great play. Good give and goes from Amonte and Waite. Waite very unlucky not to put that one in.
Varvio let the shot go from a distance and Richter was beaten. Whoa, something out of nothing at the other end. We thought the Americans were going to pop one in, and Varvio turns it right around immediately, lets go the shot, and puts it beyond the American goaltender.
Right from the blue line, Varvio lets it go. We just got done talking about the shot this guy has. Richter can't get enough of it. Just a piece, and it's behind him for goal number 1. Varvio coming up to the blue line. It's a 1-on-3. It certainly looks harmless, but he gets the shot off, and Richter's handcuffed and can't come up with a save.
What was that, Richard? We said about the goaltenders enjoying these long shots. As long as they can see them, they don't mind. Well, I really don't think that Richter was screened on that one. Palo gets it out, and back come the Finns. 4 guys hit in the blue line. Palo moves into center. The shot comes in. Richter steers it away. The loose puck at the side. Alatalo takes a swipe at it, and the Americans having to get back in numbers. Hamalainen tapped it back over the red line. Koivu fed it through to Alatalo. Palo now. Palo being pushed and shoved, but still hangs on to the puck. Palo with Koivu. And picked up now by Modano. Modano gets it forward, looking for Turcotte. Modano a chance, lets the shot go. The tip is there, and the loose puck is out front, and they can't get the shot away. Ketterer went down, and that's going to be a penalty. Koivu is dumped right in front, and Palo went down. No whistle on the play yet. Wait until the Americans touch the puck. All the way back to the blue line. Utala, Koivu. Well, how many times do the Americans have to touch the puck before that whistle blows? Tripping should be the call on this play. Let's look at this again.
Koivu, who's so quick, breaks away in the neutral zone. He's pulled down on the play. A bit of a dive, sort of pulled down, call it what you like. The referee's arm goes in the air, then he elects to wait about a day and a half to blow the whistle. Richter had made 1 save. Modano had done everything except mail the puck home to his parents. He'd stick handled with it a few times. Then the whistle finally went. Paulo, on his knees, gets the first shot off. Richter's got the pads together and denies him. The play continued on. Finally the whistle blew, and Adam Burt makes his way to the penalty box.
The call was for hooking on that occasion. Either way you look at it, Koivu was brought down. His progress was impeded as that goes in the corner and floats around the boards. The Finns with Vidakoski. Utala waltzes along the blue line, gives it back to Vidakoski. Vidakoski at the top of the circle, lines up, takes a shot. Weinrich, what is he doing out there? He slid in front of that, must have got it right on the back, and only a defenseman could do that.
Weinrich with a bit of a kamikaze move. They must have those shorts pulled up pretty high, or else he'd still be laying on the ice.
Either that or he's got a long helmet.
Know how many sets of ribs he's got, but he certainly took that shot, what looked like to be in the middle of the back.
Boy, that's old-time hockey out there.
Just what playoff hockey's all about. The Americans with a great opportunity at one end. The Finns come down the ice and score. The second time the Americans have a superb chance to get a goal for themselves. They miss, and then a penalty is called, and they're shorthanded now.
Face-off just inside the American blue line. That puck was held on the blue line by Siren and shot in. Hatcher, Nieminen goes after him. Hatcher gets it out cleverly, and the Americans now with a break. A chance going down on the right side. Eventually the whistle blows.
Well, you can hear the yelling and screaming from the American bench. Play called as an icing. It's a bit hard to call icing when the team is shorthanded.
Matsikainen making his way along the bench, still giving instructions to the players there. The face-off in the American zone, and going after it is Podine. Podine shadows as that comes up to Salinoia. Salinoia gets it forward. Varvio misses a check, gives it to Nieminen. That comes out front and eventually tapped back in. Salinoia was waiting for it, and that goes down to Ketterer's doorstep. Ketterer quickly shoots it up, and it's deflected. The Americans now setting it up. Close in, the shot! Coming out there is Podine. Podine taken off the plate. A chance now for Burt, or Turcotte rather. Play slowing down as the Finns change on the fly. Turcotte goes after his man. That's given over to Tikkanen. Tikkanen moves down on the right side, gets it right in the center. The shot comes in. And a lot of Americans out there playing goaltender.
Weinrich starting to go for a touchdown with that puck. He gloved it, carried it for a while. The whistle blowing. Going back to what happened a couple of seconds ago, Turcotte at the other end of the ice blasted that one-timer just over the goal. That's twice in shorthanded situations that he's had a close call. He's so dangerous on the penalty kill. Podine fed him and he missed that one. In the first period he had a breakaway when they were penalty killing and nearly put that puck in the net. The Finns can't relax just because they've got the man advantage.
They're going to do that one again as the linesmen move in quickly to separate Alatalo and wait. Richter has seen it all before. I think he'd like to have another stab at that shot from Varvio, though. Face off now in the American zone. Tikkanen gets it back. Hämäläinen lets the shot go. Richter well out of his cage. And that's exactly where a goaltender is supposed to be. Get out so you can see things, cut down the angle. Look at this, way out above his crease. Hämäläinen can shoot all day from there, but then we said that earlier on and Varvio scored, but he saw that one all the way.
Richter did an excellent job of controlling the rebound to make sure that nothing else was going to happen.
Weinrich gets it up quickly. The long pass is touched by Ketterer. Harilla quickly out of the zone. Big hit there on the blue line. That's going to be a penalty. Well, I'd like to see that one again. The Finns pull their goaltender. Start moving it up. They have the man advantage out there. Still the whistle doesn't blow. Weinrich goes in now, puts a heavy check on the boards. And eventually the whistle blows. Elbowing is the call.
Doug Waite right at the blue line, gets the elbow up right into the visor of the Finnish player coming out of the zone right at the blue line. Looked like Quovio going for a spin. The Americans are going to be shorthanded again. They've got to stay out of the penalty box.
Weinrich trying to convince the referee that his arm wasn't up as high as he thought it was, and to be honest, from the replay, it didn't look that dangerous to me. Doug Waite is trying to explain. He's saying, what do I got to do? Put my elbows on the ground? I don't know. I have a tendency to agree with him on that one, but what I say out there doesn't really matter. He's sitting in the box for 2 minutes, and the Americans were going to be a man down. They trail it 1-0 in the second period. This one is live on Eurosport from Dortmund. The Swiss are playing the Italians after 20 minutes of play. There's no score there. Jutila lets the shot go. Richter sets himself up. Vidakovsky is there from the short side. And Vidakovsky moving right around. Sacco got it as far as the blue line. And the Americans set up the box. Ria Järvi moves into the hash marks and gets the pass. You can see Jutila giving directions to Ria Järvi, telling him to pass it to Laukkanen. Ria Järvi moving back and forth. Laukkanen goes along the blue line. Jutila moved right into position and then goes back to the top of the circle. Jutila is the danger man out there. This is the guy who can shoot and can move. They like to go to him down the right side. The Americans now will take this opportunity with Burt to shoot it out of the zone. Podine goes after his man, but that's dumped all the way in by Laukkanen. Comes over to the near side. Sarakoski forms a pick. Burt giving Vidakoski a rough time along the boards. Sacco waiting for the puck to come his way. Sarakoski trying to give and go out there. Vidakoski back to Jutila, back to Vidakoski at the top of the circle. Vidakoski lucky to get away with that. Vidakoski taking his time. Jutila back to Vidakoski. The Americans will let them play out there all day long. They're trying to kill off this penalty to wait for elbowing Vidakoski. No movement from the Finns. That comes right in front. A chance for Ria Järvi. And Burt picks it up at the bottom of the circle and taps it leisurely down the ice and goes for a change.
Ria Järvi with a close call. He's been very quiet. Another great goal scorer for the Finns. Hasn't done much so far in this game.
Nieminen moves right in front. The bouncing puck is there. Varvio was waiting for sight of that black little disc, but that didn't happen, and the whistle blows.
Americans with their sticks on the ice and really rotating the box around quite smoothly, doing a good job of keeping the Finns to the outside. The only opportunity they got was when the puck was directed to the goal by Jutila, and then as the rebound laid there, a backhand chance for Ria Järvi, but he was quickly smothered out of the play.
Less than 10 seconds on the penalty. The Americans golf that all the way down the ice, so that'll be it. Siren goes deep. So the Americans back at full strength. Wait. That comes up to Tikkanen. Big shot. Tikkanen really can let him fly. Wait pushes that along the boards and then gives Tikkanen a little poke. Turcotte goes after his man. Modano at the second attempt almost broke through. That's pushed over to the far side. And getting in there quickly is number 2, Robert Beers. Loose puck dribbles all the way down into the American zone. And now a chance for the Americans as they come up with number 4, Weinrich. That's tapped in, banged off the net from the side. Right out front, and Modano couldn't get a clear shot at goal. Some good stuff here from Hapakoski as he eventually gives it to Nieminen. Nieminen tried to get it out front, and Beers slid across, hanging on to that puck. Good defensive move by Robert Beers. Tampa Bay player, still only 26 years old.
Beers going into the boards quite heavily. Had to acclimatize himself probably to come to Germany to play hockey after being in Tampa, Florida all season. Doesn't look like he's got much of a tan.
Can you imagine going up to somewhere like Winnipeg in the middle of January after being on the beach in Tampa Bay? So I don't think I'll go on this road trip, boss. I just think I'll stay here and nurse my golfing game. Back to reality here. The Americans now starting it up. Amonte down on the right side, drops it back to Waite, trying to go back to Amonte. Ketterer got a touch on that. Olczyk looking to get it back. That comes back to number 7, Moran, who hasn't seen a lot of action out there. The Americans starting to throw on a couple of youngsters. Amonte's got a head of steam. Amonte going up against Harilla. A high stick up there by Harilla. And play continues as Amonte was crashed into the boards. The Finns back on the attack. Hämäläinen works his way over the blue line, lets the easy shot go for Richter. Moran takes his man out of the play. Richards, who in turn hasn't seen a lot of action, gives that to Hämäläinen. His shot is through the crease, but not near the goal. That's tapped right back in. Alatalo working back and forth, ducking and diving behind the net. Olczyk tries to stay on him. That comes out front, and Waite is there. That took a deflection, bounces right back. Richards picks it up. Richards takes a hit from Alatalo. Waite goes in after Paulo. All the way out to Jutila. Jutila has a chance. Richter's there and makes the save. Jutila taps Richter to say well done.
You've got to like this guy, Jutila, 29-year-old captain of the Finnish team. Plays defense so well, but he is so quick to go forward. He loves getting involved in the offense. Takes a wrist shot toward Richter, right into the breadbasket, as they call it. The puck goes down. Richter sees it all the way. Jutila comes in, gives him a little tap, and then compliments him for making the save. Great guy with a lot of heart for this Finnish team.
One of the many mobile defensemen that the Finns have out there. Plant being told to leave the circle. Johnson goes in and does the honors, gets it back. Peltema taking his man out of the play, and the Americans struggle to get it out of their zone again. Hatcher, Burt, Peltema all move in, and eventually we have a whistle, and we're going to have another face-off. Scoreline is still 1-0 with the Finns leading this with a goal from Varvio on that long shot here in the second period.
Varvio last year, joint leading goal scorer in the World Games with 9 goals and 1 assist for 10 points. Certainly hasn't slowed up in a year. He's not likely to at his age.
Guy's a good hockey player. He came out of nowhere last year. The Finns heard about him, but not too many other people. 12-12 gone now in the period. The Americans in the neutral zone will have to chase again. Hatcher gets it up to number 14, Johnson. Johnson drives that to the far side from the top of the circle. That ricochets off the backboards, and the Americans now set it up. Burt comes in heavily, taken out of the play, but kept the puck in. Drury had that whistle over his stick, but only as far as Hatcher. Johnson, the American college line, working hard out there. Burt saw that go by him. Korpisalo shot it down the ice, and both teams again want to get a change. Drury goes to the boards. Gaudreau jumps on the ice, and once again we see the referee getting in the way. Icing is the call. It's not easy being an official out there. You have to watch what's going on, but you have to have eyes in the back of your head to watch out for players coming out of the cool night air.
Referee Bukarev has already given Modano a bloody nose in a collision earlier.
Coach Tim Taylor studying the playbook. Matikainen goes after the stopwatch. He doesn't seem to be using it as much tonight. He's still got it in his hand out there.
Trying to figure out what he does with that stopwatch. I think he's timing himself. He gets 30 chews for every 5 seconds on his gum.
I don't know how you can time people in a game like this. There's other things to concentrate on. Going in quickly there is Gaudreau and Turcotte. That's given off nicely, and the Finns coming back out over the blue. 2 Finns, 3 Finns hitting the blue line. Offside is the call. A breakdown in communications there as everyone went the wrong way.
Assistant captain Sarakoski, very hard-working player, 23 years old, coaches hockey in Luko.
Last year was a good year for the Finns. They picked up the silver. What have they got in store this year? That's batted down at the blue line. Eventually the offside whistle blows and we'll have another face-off. We're going through a phase here of short spurts of ice hockey. The Americans have picked up 2 gold, 9 silver, and 3 bronze. And they desperately need something. It's been a long time since a medal. 63, as I said earlier on, that was the bronze they got. And they feel this year that they've got a good chance at it. They've got a solid team out there. They're trailing 1-0 to the Finns, who are one of the favorites this year.
And they're certainly without a host of their stars from Finland who are currently engaged in playoffs in the NHL.
Both teams could use some more NHL help. The shot coming in. Salinoja let that one fly. Salinoia picks up the puck in the neutral zone and taps it back. The shadow coming from Turcotte. That's batted down. Nieminen kicks it out. The Finns, Jutila feeding it up. There's no one there to pick it up, and Weinrich shoots it into Finnish territory. Harila quick to get it out, and the Finns now breaking quickly. A chance for Varvio. Varvio takes it wide, tips it into the circle, and Varvio waits for it to come back. Salinoia is there to help out, and the Americans now, who haven't had anything going for a long time, muscle along the boards. Turcotte, watch that go the other way. Beers stays with his man. That's Varvio taken out of the play. The referee lets that one go. A chance now for Modano, who's brought down in the neutral zone. Varvio looking for Koivu. Koivu ahead of the play there, and the Americans now pick it up. The long pass forward to Modano. That was nice. Modano tees it up, takes the shot. Ketterer is there.
Good shot from Modano, but Ketterer right where he should be. Quick release from Modano. The puck is going toward Ketterer. Keeps his body right in front of the puck. Watches the rebound, takes a look around and sees that he can't play the puck and just holds on for a face-off.
Face-off now in Finnish territory. Waits goes into the face-off circle for the Americans. Koivu is being told to get out. Nieminen takes over, and Waite goes in. Waite picks up the puck. Waite taken out of the play by Alatalo. Alatalo and Waite, both exciting players. That just missed the near side. Amonte looking for the wraparound. One swipe, two swipes. Ketterer is there. Laukkanen is there. That comes all the way back to the blue line. A shot from inside the circle. Olczyk is there. The loose puck. Waite takes a swipe at it. And bodies flying all over the place. Amonte reaches over and takes a poke.
Amonte giving a good shot as he was down after the play. I'm sure he's got some phone numbers and a couple of jersey numbers on that one. Paolo giving a few shots. He's motioning to the referee that he was slashed and cross-checked. Great opportunity for the Americans. A lot of that created by the work of Tony Amonte. He's a good-sized guy who is really quick. He really buzzes around the net and makes things happen. Ed Olczyk involved. Doug Waite was tied up and unable to get a stick on the puck as it laid there in front of Ketterer. The backhander from Olczyk. Waite is at the side of the net. Well taken out of the play. He can't get across the ice to get it. Ketterer dives over to make the save. Amonte slides in with his stick to try and get a touch. That's when he receives a bit of a cheap shot, and everything escalates from there. Excellent job by Jutila to take Doug Waite out of the play, doing anything he has to do just to keep the man from getting his stick on the puck. Olczyk thinks he's open, but he's not. Ketterer can hang on to it, and he does.
Jutila, you can see the reaction there from Waite as he skates over the red line backwards. He says, hey, this guy was holding me. Jutila, number 5, holding me in the crease. And eventually, the penalty is called.
A look at Captain Jutila sitting in the penalty box now. He pretty well molested Doug Waite in the front of at the front of the goal.
As you said, Richard, you got to do what you got to do out there in a situation like that. No holds barred. The face-off comes out into neutralized territory.
Because the defenseman for the American side had gone and gotten involved in the play, the referee bringing the puck outside the blue line.
Weinrich on this side, and that comes nicely to the Finns. A chance now for Tikkanen. High over the glove hand. Amonte bangs it off the backboards. Amonte throws it up to Waite. Waite still out there. Flips it over onto the left wing. The American Weinrich brings it in. Weinrich up against Hapakoski. Amonte goes in to help out. Weinrich is there. Weinrich. Koivu still kept in the zone, and eventually it trickles out into neutralized territory, and the Americans unable to set it up in Finnish territory. Weinrich got the stick up high as the check came in. The Finns throwing the checks out there. A chance now to look at Modano. Modano shakes off one slash, throws that in deep. And we'll have another face-off. Both teams really having a go at each other. And you can see what happens when you carry the puck. There's a lot of slashing that is going undetected out there. It's all part of the game, of course. And it's the kind of thing you have to put up with.
You can hear the hacking and whacking all the way up in the end blues of the rink here. End blues referring to what they call the seats up in the clouds at the Montreal Forum. In case people don't realize that, I apologize for that.
Rattled off the boards all the way down. Richter watches that bounce out front. Beers picks it up. Still a power play situation with Utila sitting in the box for holding. Given off to Hatcher. Hatcher moves nicely along against Hamalainen. 32 seconds on the penalty. Hamalainen collects that. Hamalainen a good little move to get himself free, and he shoots it down the ice. Richter comes out to touch the puck.
Another broken stick, meaning another slash somebody's received. Players are really having a go at each other. It's starting to get a bit chippy. The referee's going to have to get good control of this game, or it could get out of hand. Podine collects a new stick and also makes his way to the penalty box. It's nice to see that he broke a wooden stick on a player, not an aluminum one.
Slashing the call as you predicted. Telltale sign out there with a broken stick. And someone trying to glue their back together. Tim Taylor still pacing, still trying to put a formula together to get his team on the scoreboard. We're still in the second period. Turcotte loses out. That comes back. Hapakoski takes the shot. That's under the goaltender.
4-on-4. Hapakoski getting the shot away. Slight lack of discipline by the Americans, having a power play opportunity in the opposing team zone, taking a slashing penalty, and now with the sides even, the Finns applying pressure on the American goal.
From the face-off now, Sarakoski trying to kick it through. Vitakoski moves his way. Vitakoski tried to bring it out front. He has a chance. Spins around, takes a shot. That hammered off the backboards. Vitakoski doing a great job out there. And the Americans dropping it deep, looking to get something going with Burt. Burt flips it over to the far side. The Finns are back at full strength. The give theirs to Gaudreau. Gaudreau takes the high shot on Ketterer. And Ketterer gloves that down. I'm sure the last thing the Finns wanted is a face-off in their zone with a power play out there, but Ketterer felt he had nowhere to go with that puck.
Doing the smart thing. A lot of people moving away from the action. Defenseman tying people up. He just held on.
Sacco against Nieminen. Neither team settling down on these face-offs right away. A lot of support here for both teams, but I think it's fair to say the Finns outnumber the Americans for obvious reasons. As I said, in the game between the Czechs and the Germans, it's also the job of the linesmen to clean up the mess out on the rink. On this occasion, there's a little groove or nick in the ice, which could be dangerous, so they tap it up with snow, put a little water on it, and rub the puck over it. So now you know how it's done. That's not how you make a complete ice rink, of course. Just a little hole from time to time is patched up that way.
My father did that a few times in the backyard, though.
I believe it. It took him 3 years to build the rink with that one puck. Every time the spring came, the snow just melted and he started again in December.
It's really hard on the knees and back.
That goes all the way back into American territory. Weinrich gets back in a hurry. Tikkanen goes after Weinrich. Three-man collision there with Beers, and the Finns come up with the puck. That's what the fans have paid to see. 100% effort from both teams. Sheeran takes the shot. Tikkanen took a swipe at that as it bounces away. Sheeran is back on the blue. He's got the big shot, and a chance now for the American Drury. Drury slows it down, throws it out front. The pass there to Sacco wasn't connected, and back come the Finns. A long pass. Sheeran took the shot. Another one comes in, and that took a rebound, and the Americans falling get it out of the zone. Eddie Olczyk out there doing the checking for the Americans. Tikkanen took the shot, and they're taking some wicked bounces out there off the rebound. Beers took a swipe at that to get it out of the zone. 21 Sacco falls, and eventually it's tipped out into neutralized territory. Tikkanen brings it over the blue. A chance now for the Finns. They set it up again. Olczyk goes after his man all the way back to Hapakoski. Hapakoski delivers it over to Jutala. That goes high. Tikkanen takes a jab right in front. Beers has words and a mean look at Tikkanen. They're going after him tonight, that's for sure. He's seen it all before, though, at Edmonton and now with the Rangers.
Certainly not the first time he's been hit around the front of the goal. Everybody wants to be a celebrity. Every time the cameras move in the direction of the spectators, they're on their feet. Podine still sitting in the penalty box for the USA.
Face-off deep in American territory. That comes back to Jutala. Jutala fakes the shot, feeds it over to the far side. Laukkonen let that one fly, comes back to Jutala. Jutala gently taps it off the boards. The Americans back at full strength. The chance now for USA as they break up the ice. Three players hitting the blue line. Hatcher taken out of the play, but not before he gets it up. Olczyk had a chance there. Olczyk tried to wrap it around and ran out of places to go. The give back to number 5, Hauer, wasn't complete. A delayed penalty on the play as that comes down the ice. The whistle blows. The goaltender Richter came out because it's going against the Finns, so as soon as the Finns touch it, the whistle would blow.
Holding is the call on defenseman Laukkonen. Laukkonen gets a lot of ice time. The 23-year-old is out there for all the penalty killing situations normally, and has his hand in some of the power play chances as well. Very solid defenseman, but this also gives the Americans now a chance to try and level the score.
2 minutes for voting. Time 79 minutes and 10 seconds.
The Americans with the man advantage now will look to level this score. Varvio has been the only goal scorer so far in this game. He took the long shot. Richter, well, did he fan on it? Did he just misjudge it? Couldn't he hold it? Maybe it was too hard. I don't know. We'll have to ask him after the game. That was number 1 and the only one. The Finns are leading it here in the second period. Hatcher being forced back to the blue line, elects to go along the boards to Amonti. Hamalainen roughed up Amonti, going in quickly. Plant couldn't do anything, and a chance now for Tikkanen. Tikkanen waiting for support. Tikkanen moving right in front. The loose puck is there. Oh, that was so close. Right on the post with Richter backing up. Modano tees it up, takes a big shot, and the puck out there whistling all over the rink as these boys let the puck fly. Modano gathers it. Modano having problems, and the Finns are putting a lot of pressure on the Americans despite having a man down. Hatcher fed that through. Hatcher stands in front of the net. This guy is going to be tough to knock out of the way. He's 6'5". Hatcher now races back, but the whistle blows to end the second period, and what a period it was. We take a look at the action now just before the whistle.
Good stuff as Tikkanen tries to cut in on the short side, starts to lose the puck, and that made it that much more dangerous for Richter as he was going down.
After the second period,
Modano manages to get the puck out of danger. The only goal scored in the period by Varvio. It's 1-0 after 2.
Another look at this one. We'll see how close it was.
Italien 0:1.
right by the post, and Richter for a moment must have panicked as he saw that coming towards him. Well, this is building for a really good and exciting final period. After 40 minutes of play, there's the scoreline. The Finns are leading it 1-0 with the only goal coming off of Varvio's stick, but still lots of hockey to come.
It's either team's game. Both goalies playing well, each side getting their share of opportunities. Quite possibly the penalties could take their toll. Both coaches are going to make the players aware they've got to stay out of the box in the third period.
We'll see what happens. We're going to take a break now. Stay with us. Third period action coming up in a moment. Welcome back. Paul Ferguson here with Richard Beaupre. And the teams are taking a well-deserved break between the second and third period. We've got 20 minutes of action coming up, and this is going to be a great final period. I can feel it in my bones. The Finns on a goal from Varvio lead 1-0. Both goaltenders have been sharp, and this one is still wide open.
A lot of hitting, a lot of end-to-end action. It's anybody's game. It's hard to predict who's going to win this. Both teams are physical, and they certainly have experience and a lot of talent offensively. Anything can happen.
Right now, we're going to put together a little package for you, the top 5 saves and top 5 goals. Sit back and enjoy this. Welcome back. Paul Ferguson here with Richard Beaupre. We're taking a look at that goal scored in the second period as we wait for the teams to come out for the third period. Varvio letting it fly. Well, was that an accident or was it just too hot to handle?
Not quite sure what to make of that. It was a good shot. Richter appeared to have a good sight line on it. He just got a piece of it and it managed to get by him. He's only human at his best, and I'm sure he'd like to have another chance at it, but he isn't going to have it. The Americans have got to pull one back for him.
Well, we mentioned earlier that penalties could be the difference in this one. We'll see what happens in the third period. They've played a major part in one or two of the games so far in the competition. And it'll be interesting to see how Tim Taylor plays against the Finns in this third and final period. They really have had their moments. The Finns have had some excellent chances too, and as we've said so many times, the goaltenders have come up big when called upon. The face-off at center now. The Americans will play from left to right. Here we go. Weinrich slows it down and gets another stick. Nieminen gets set for the face-off. He always looks like he's totally composed. Back to Beers. Beers will start it up for the Americans. Beers dumps it all the way in. That goes over the line. And it'll be interesting to see what the Americans can do with this power play situation. Nieminen still out there as that's delivered over to the far corner. And the Americans now really have to throw their game together. Nieminen goes back on the defense. Coming up quickly is Weinrich. He hits the red line, throws it in. Chasing there is Modano. Over onto the far side is Gaudreau. Gaudreau couldn't slow it down, and Tikkanen got a piece of it, as he's done so many times in this game, and puts it down the ice. The Americans quickly back on the attack. Beers throws it up. Modano picks it up now. Modano loses it once, picks it up now, goes right in. Modano, a chance. The loose puck is right there, and Gaudreau spun around, dropped back. Modano got it up from Turcotte. Modano back to Turcotte. Back to Modano. Modano tips it over the blue line. And the Americans with problems setting it up in the finish zone. Shot close in. Turcotte was there, but so was Ketterer, shooting right at the goaltender.
Turcotte having a rough time. He's had 3 or 4 good chances in this game and just can't bury one. Earlier, Modano did a lot of work getting around the defense and fed one out to him that just didn't come off. This time he's got a quick snapshot of his own, but it's right at Ketterer, and he plays it off the chest protector and holds on.
Still a power play situation out there for the USA. The Finns deep in their own zone as Olczyk gets set for the face-off. Sarakoski tried to tip it through, and the Americans dump it back. Burt throws it back in as the Finns come back to full strength here in the third period. It's all even now. Out on the ice anyway, on the scoreboard, the Finns are leading by 1. Some good interception there by Amonti. Long shot coming in from Olczyk, and that's tipped in. Amonti and Olczyk working well throughout this game. Can they put the Americans on the scoreboard? Amonti didn't like what he felt around his neck there and around his face. He's having words with the official, but he doesn't want to hear it.
I'm sure he can't understand him anyways. Monty not liking the way he's being roughed up, but he gives it as well. Ketterer taking another quick drink on that water bottle up on his net. Team's getting set for the face-off.
Tikkanen from the face-off has to go back on the defense as Jutila flips it high in the lights, and that trickles all the way down over the blue line. That goes the distance. Burt is back there being chased by Peltema, and icing is the call. So we'll have a face-off back in Finnish territory.
A lot of pressure on the centers on the face-offs when they're deep in your own defensive zone. The positional play of the other four people is so critical as well. We've seen goals scored right off face-offs in a 1-0 game. Neither team wants to give up something silly like that.
Hatcher takes the shot. Olczyk was positioned right in front of the crease. And Korpisalo brings it out. Korpisalo to Peltoma. Peltoma taps it through. Richter is there. Richter hammers that off the boards. And the Americans colliding, but bringing it out of the zone. Peltoma puts the stick out, and he's sidestepped by Burt. Burt fires it in. Ketterer is out there to slow it down, but the Americans pick it up. Tikkanen goes after his man. Olczyk moves in front. The Americans perhaps taking a little too long on the play. Laukkanen was there along with a fistful of others to slow down the Americans as the Finns dump it down the ice yet again to take the pressure off.
Avanti and Waite still putting a lot of pressure on. The Finns actually looking a little bit flat and unorganized, taking their time between line changes. Matti Kainen having a good word with the players as they're coming off the ice, trying to make sure that mentally they're still into this game. They've only got the narrowest of leads, 1-0 at the moment.
Drury, Moran, the college kids out there for the Americans. A chance now for Johnson. Johnson loses it in the corner. Moving up quickly is Plant. It's all youngsters out there. The Finns coming back with Koivu. Koivu tees it up, takes the shot, the rebound's right in front. And Paulo took a swipe at it, but couldn't get it in. Coming back on the attack, Johnson right in front. That goes right into the goal. Drury went in there. The puck went in there. The goaltender went in there. Hapakowski was in there. I don't think the guy selling hot dogs was there. He's about the only one.
Good action as Johnson with a heads-up pass across. He's directing it toward the goal. Drury is on the move. Nicely taken out of the play by Hapakowski. There's nothing wrong with that. Ketterer knows where the puck is, but he has no control over the fact that he's going over the red line as well as the two players coming into him.
Face-off will be deep in Finnish territory. Matti Kainen still not happy with what he sees out there. Let's take a look at it from upstairs.
Good action from both teams. That kid line for the Americans out there playing against Koivu, Tikkanen, and Paulo. Good goal-scoring line for the Finns.
Well, they're definitely holding their own as Hämäläinen looks to get around Modano. Hämäläinen feeds it up to Nieminen. Nieminen taps it up on the right. Richter kicks it out over to the hash marks on the near side. Burt couldn't get along with Beers and Nieminen. Salinoia was positioned out front for about a day and a half, but the puck didn't come his way. Now it's the Americans who take the opportunity to shoot it down the ice, and the icing whistle blows. Neither team want to give anything away here in the third period. 1-0 is the score. If you just joined us, the Finns are leading the Americans. And yet again, another excellent game coming from the World Ice Hockey Championships in Germany. This one is being played in Dortmund, and it's live on Eurosport. For the next couple of weeks, we'll be live on Eurosport during the day and at evening. Sometimes we're replaying the game, so loose puck in front. Waite picks it up, so keep an eye on your TV listenings. We'll try to tell you when they're coming up. Going down on the right side, Amonte slams on the brakes. Amonte gets it back. Burt took the shot, and that's blocked, knocked out of the zone, and the Americans will have to go back. Hatcher up on the right side. The Americans, one or two good passes, and Burt is brought down right in front of the penalty box.
Everybody on the ice yelling for the penalty call. Peltoma still playing with the puck, showing some of his stuff. Things he likes to do in practice, apparently. Burt makes his way to the penalty box, getting some congratulations from his teammates.
Burt actually making his way to the bench.
Oh, I apologize. I meant the bench.
It sounded a lot like penalty box to me.
Well, it certainly did. It would be funny if there were 19 players in the penalty box.
No, I think there was a team in England just about had that about a week ago. I won't go into that too much because they used to be a great team. I'm sure they'll be back someday. But the referee at the time actually finished the game 3 or 4 minutes early because they had too many players in the penalty box and not enough guys to carry on the game. But we won't carry on with that one. Jutila goes in the penalty box for a couple of minutes. Power play now for the Americans here in the third period.
2 minutes for hooking and 2 minutes unsportsmanlike conduct.
Very uncharacteristic for Jutila, who's the leader of this team, taking 4 minutes in penalties. That's going to be costly. Matti Kainen shaking his head on the bench, not happy with that at all. Jutila hooking Bert on the original play, then out of frustration taking 2 minutes for unsportsmanlike conduct as well.
Richter trying to keep himself active out there, moving around back and forth, roughing up his crease, playing with the water bottle. The Americans now in the finish zone. That bobbles out, and the Americans will have to go back for it. Beers goes into the corner. Everyone back for the Americans. What are they going to do? They've got the man advantage out there. The long shot in and going in quickly. The Americans with Olczyk out front. That comes back as far as the blue line. Passed over to Beers. Beers off the boards. Pumpers it right in. The tip from Olczyk. Waite was right there. Ramonti puts it back to the blue line. Ramonti back to the blue line again. Weinrich takes his nice score! Power play goal! Weinrich set it up from way back at the blue. Waite, Beers, and co. celebrate. Weinrich moves in. Amonte gets a tap on the back of the head. Olczyk was in front. Let's look at this again.
Play directed back to the blue line. The big shot coming from the point. The tip is right in front. Ketterer just can't handle the change of direction. Bodies in front. The Finns appear to have the Americans covered, but the tip is just there, and it's enough to score the first goal for the USA. Big shot taken from Eric Weinrich results in the Ed Olczyk goal.
Gaudreau flips it over. Hatcher moving into center. The bouncing puck goes up and it's gloved down by Ketterer. Still pressure coming from the Americans. Amonte also getting credit for an assist on that. He threw it back from the hash marks. 1-1 the score.
Slight breakdowns in discipline have cost a few times already to various teams. The Germans losing their composure, they paid the price. Now we see a veteran like Jutila sitting in the box for 4 minutes, watching the Americans score 1 goal, and now still with an opportunity to take the lead with the power play.
Modano circles. Modano completely in control out there. Modano along the boards, taps it into the circle. Gaudreau can't hang on to it. That goes along the boards to Gaudreau. Gaudreau taken out of the play by Hämäläinen. And Turcotte tried to do something in the far corner. Shot all the way down. Richter will come out and get a touch on that. Bert will want to move this quickly back up the ice. 1-1 the score in the third and final period of this World Championship game. Modano put it over to the far side. A lot of people calling for an offside on the play. Hatcher squeezed it in. Hatcher moves back. Modano is right in front. Takes a wrist shot. A great save by Ketterer. How did he grab that one?
Good reflexes by Ketterer. Modano wide open. A left-hand shot being on the right side. Elected to just hold it and take the wrist shot. Thought he had his corner pick, but Ketterer got the big catching glove on the puck. 51 seconds left in the penalty to Jutila. Modano getting all of this one. Ketterer getting the catching glove on it and then holding on.
Top of the circle, Beers lets the shot go. The rebound is right there and cleared away, and the Americans with weight going deep. Tikkanen checks Beers picks up the bouncing puck. Beers feeds it up through the eye of the needle. That deflects, goes all the way down the ice. No icing call. That was tipped. Hapakoski picks it up, bangs it off the boards, and Beers brings it in. Beers calling for it out front. Monty couldn't get a handle on it. And Jutila getting ready to step back on the ice. Beers feeds it over to Weinrich. Weinrich fires it back into the corner. This is a tie game out there. Olczyk scoring on a power play. Varvio in the second period. 1-1. Koivu steps back off the ice. Weinrich picks it up. Jutila steps on the ice. The Finns are back at full strength. The pass over onto an open wing, and the Finns will get it out of the zone as Waite chases that one. Weinrich up on the boards. Hämäläinen tried to get that. Some good moves over there by the Americans. Waite going after it is Johnson. Johnson moves into the circle, and he's taken out of the plate. A chance for Nieminen. Nieminen now has got a lot of moves out there. Nieminen still in the circle, still in possession, goes up against Weinrich, who's had a really solid game out there. Leaves it for Johnson. Johnson taps it forward. Waite tips it all the way back. Hauer picking up a head of steam, throws it up onto the wing, and the Americans dropping everybody over the line. Some good stuff from the Americans. The shot comes in. That's beside the net. Going after it is Johnson. Gaudreau moved in. Sacco was there too. Hämäläinen along the boards. Hämäläinen looking for somewhere to go. Starts to come over onto the left side. Hämäläinen hits the top of the circle and throws it high into the air just over the blue line. Picked up by Richter. Barry Richter feeds it up nicely onto the left wing. The Americans going in nicely as Sacco. Sacco spun out of the play. The loose puck is picked up as Podin was squeezed out into the far corner. The Finns not looking as sharp as they were a moment ago. That goal was giving the Americans heart. Sacco has got Drury. Drury falls in front. The loose puck is right there. Still not away. Podin camps out front. The pass doesn't come from Burt. Burt, the big defenseman, finds himself into the corner trying to kick it free. Unfamiliar territory for the big guy. Vidakoski muscles against him. That pass was an aimless one, intercepted easily by the Finns. They bring it out, and happy just to shoot it out of the zone to the far blue line. Both teams going for a change out there. Non-stop action here in the third period.
Both teams realizing that defensively they've got to cover their men.
Peltoma took the shot there. Hatcher deflected almost into his own net.
I just started to say about covering their men. Riavari doing a good job of back-checking for the Finns, and then Tikkanen was all alone going in on the American goal.
A chance now for number 14. Some good stuff there from Korpisalo. Richter came up big. Korpisalo broke in a 2-on-1 situation, decided to go for the shot. Weinrich on the far side can't get to it first. Hauer has to skate over to this side. Some interference from the Americans as Peltoma hammers his man into the boards. The pace picking up here in the third period. Hatcher goes after his man as that is deflected high and down the ice. Hämäläinen deflects it off the boards, and the Finns go for a change, as do the Americans.
The changes will get quicker and quicker as this third period wears on.
Paolo, some good stuff from him, helps to set up Koivu. Koivu just couldn't get his feet there and his positioning right. Some good stuff from the Finns. But close in, Richter is there. Oh, number 15, Alatalo was setting the whole thing up from behind the goal, directing traffic just like a conductor out there.
Tim Taylor will be pulling his hair out on the bench. An American player was going after Alatalo and fell for the little cheeky move where the player throws the puck off the back of the net and back to himself. The body wasn't taken. The big swing was made, and Alatalo was still there waiting to feed somebody coming in. That player being Hämäläinen, number 4, coming in from his defensive spot. You can't swing circles. You've got to stop and start, especially in your own defensive zone.
Koivu from the faceoff gets it back, and now the Finns are having a good go at the Americans here in the third period. Into the near corner, Hauer loses his stick, trying to regain his stick and his composure. Koivu behind the net kicks it away. Still Hauer has got his stick. That's tapped forward by a glove, and so the whistle will blow. But Hauer doing the only thing he could out there. Unless he picked it up and threw it down the ice. He just tapped it with his glove, but that's not allowed. The whistle blows, and we'll have a face-off.
Both of the coaches talking it over with the players, sending guys out one at a time to make sure they've got who they want on the ice. And the centers each looking around to make sure the coverage is right for this important face-off in the American zone.
Through the circle, that is whistled down. They'll do it again.
Nieminen and Waite having a real struggle on the draw. The Americans moving quite quickly off that drop of the puck from the linesman.
Pentti Matikainen likes to walk in front of the bench. Most coaches prefer to be behind the bench. The most obvious reason is if a puck comes over, you're the first guy to get it, I would have thought. Seriously, though, it's easier to direct traffic from behind the bench because you can see all the players and you don't have to turn your back on the rink. That's shot out all the way down the ice. Over the red line, icing is the call, and both teams going for icing calls to take the pressure off. As I said, neither team wants to make a mistake here in the third period. It's 1 goal apiece. This is live on Eurosport. We hope you're enjoying it. We certainly are. The USA against Finland. We really have seen some exciting games in this competition. The Americans drew the Czechs with 1 goal apiece in the opening game that they played, and boy, that was wide open, just like this one. A lot of fine goaltending and some excellent play from just about everyone on the ice. The Americans now started out from the right-hand corner, coming back on the attack, trying to feed the eye of the needle. A long pass forward intended for Johnson just didn't connect, and another icing call.
Adam Burt, number 6 on the defense, is very quick. He always has his head up and moves the puck quite nicely out of the American zone. One of the defensemen whose name is not talked about as much as a few of the others that they've got out there, but he certainly is a solid player.
Representation from just about every team in Europe here. Hatcher taken out of the play. That is knocked back to the slot area, and the Americans with Johnson coming down. Johnson slams on the brakes, looking to backhand that through. It's tipped out. Burt muscles along the boards, and it's thrown over nicely to Tikkanen. Tikkanen lets the shot go. That takes a wicked bounce over to the far side, cleared away by Plant. And the Americans at the red line. A chance for Hatcher. Hatcher moves in, throws it right out front. Johnson was there, but the pass didn't come his way. All the way back to their own blue line. The Americans getting it out. Peltomer is there. Hämäläinen is there, and the puck is touched, and we have another whistle on the plate.
Craig Johnson doing a lot of work making his way to the American bench. Former University of Minnesota star, drafted by St. Louis in '90.
Well, it's so nice to see American fans mixing with Finnish fans out there. A lot of sports you can't see that. You have them separated by wire fences. Not in hockey. All the rough stuff, in most instances, out on the ice. The Americans now behind the red line in the corner. Ria Järvi, who has been quiet in this game. Ria Järvi moving along the boards, is dispossessed. That comes out into the circle. It bobbles free. Going back for it is Weinrich. Weinrich taps it forward into the neutral zone. The Americans pick it up. 3 guys over the blue line. That comes right out front. Too far for anyone, and back come the Finns. Jutila, the big defenseman, hits the blue line, puts it over on the far line. That's whistled all the way around the boards by Vidakoski. Picked up on this side, eventually dropped off. Palo was skating out front looking for the pass, and the Americans happy just to flip it high. That goes all the way down the ice. No icing call. It doesn't go the distance. Vilasirin picks it up. Olczyk tapped it forward. Hapakoski runs into a check. Amonte is there looking for something. That doesn't happen. And along the voids is Koivu. Koivu was taken out of the play by Richter, and the Americans now go quickly back to pick this one up. 12:32 gone in the period. Forward checking there from Paulo Richter in the far corner. The Finns pick it up in the circle, but the Americans get it right back and tap it forward. Amonte coming up on the right side. Amonte tees it up, takes the shot. Oh, Ketterer got the skate out. Koivu picks it up, and Ketterer felt that one. Good save from Marcus Ketterer in the Finnish goal. Coming back, Alatalo. Alatalo, a good little move. Oh, moved it right in front. Nieminen takes the shot. How many Finns are in front? Richter is there. Makes the save. Alatalo was there. That was a shooting gallery. 1, 2, 3. Now the punches start to fly.
Well, Alatalo did the noble thing. As soon as he had one whack at the puck, he got right out of the way of Richter because he knew the blue shirts would be coming for him. And then he did take a shot later. What a move he puts on here. Comes right to the front of the goal. Is hooked up a little bit. Looks to try and put one more move on. The stick gets in there from the defenseman. Mike Richter doesn't care what's going on behind him. He's watching the play in front of him. Nieminen comes in with a shot. The save is made. There are two Finnish forwards wide open in front of the net, and the Americans are caught very guilty of looking and watching the play.
Big chop there on the goaltender. Second big chop on the goaltender from Alatalo. But did you see Richter on that play? Maintaining his composure while all around him bodies are flying, sticks are chopping at him. He had the pads together. He was on his feet. He wasn't flopping. He wasn't diving like a beached whale. He was there. He was set square at the shot.
It's funny how Paulo was the man further away from the play as the other Finn that was open in front of the net, and he's the one that ended up taking the beating, and it was Alatalo who got a couple of shots in at Richter.
2 minutes for roughing, and Team Finland, player number 20, Marco Paulo.
Paulo gets a penalty, 2 minutes. Amonte is also in there.
3 seconds.
Nieminen taps it back. And things starting to hot up out there again. Long shot. Richter got in front of that. Niemann raced in looking for the rebound. That takes a deflection. Good look at Tony Amonte. 22-year-old New York Ranger player.
Superstar from the Boston area who's done very well for himself. A young guy with great speed and good size. Paulo in the penalty box with him, 25 years old. Very dangerous player. The two of them mixing it up quite nicely in front of the net.
Good move by Sarakoski to give it to Siren. That was deflected high. The Italians leading the Swiss 1-0. So a lot of close games being played in this tournament. That's nice to see. No one likes to pay to get into a hockey game and have it turn into a basketball game. In some countries they have really high scoring games, but over here they're too well evenly matched. Vidakoski, Weinrich takes him out. Sarakoski is there now. Beers goes up against him. Beers goes after Sarakoski. The stick coming in as we approach the 14-minute mark, all the way back to the blue. That took a shot, or took a deflection. Siren got a piece of that. Vidakoski from Sarakoski. Vidakoski, the deflection there. That came off with Weinrich and almost went in the back of the net. The Americans now with a break, trying to split the defense. The shot on Ketterer. Madonna going through. Turcotte is there now, and the official wants to play on. Get it moving. Beers. Vidakoski takes him out of the play. Turcotte is there. The Finns now started up center. The Americans are caught in the zone. Madonna was standing still. A chance now. Varvio let the shot through. A chance. The loose puck is there. It's right out front, and the Americans pick it up and start to move down the ice, but the whistle has blown.
Once again, you can see how tough it gets in front of the net. Witkowski taking a couple of shots. Sarakoski directs the puck through for him. It gets all the way to Richter. He holds on to it eventually, but it's bouncing around for a while. Witkowski with a couple of cracks at it. But does he ever get punished for his efforts after the play is whistled dead? You can see the blue shirt starting to come in. Witkowski goes down and would really love to have his whole head go inside of his jersey as Beers ends up on top of him and makes sure he gives him a couple of shots.
Along the boards, Tikkanen and Nieminen doing the forechecking for the Finns. That goes all the way down to Ketter. Jutila starts it back up in a hurry, being shadowed by Waite. The Finns now having the better of the play. Laukkanen fakes the shot, flips it in, and the Finns setting it up. Off the boards, Hatcher goes after Nieminen. Both teams back in full strength. Hatcher delivers that pass away from Nieminen, and the Americans try to get out of their zone. That's about as far as the blue line, and then the Americans break out. Going down on goal, Amonte and Hatcher forward. The whistle blowing.
Laukkanen very slow getting up. Glove, helmet, half of his body went flying. Taken out of the play just inside the blue line. Trainer quickly out on the ice to make sure he's okay. The referee not seeing anything that he wasn't unhappy with, so no penalties were called on the play.
Laukkanen getting repairs to that left wrist. They don't want to lose this guy. He's a great two-way player out there. He sets up a lot of goals. And defensively, well, he's one of the tops on the Finnish side. The Finns, with their non-stop clapping, are trying to will this Finnish team into a victory. Still a 1-1 game out there with the Finns going up against the Americans. Alatalo got it back to Hämäläinen. Hämäläinen on the red line, happy just to flip it through. Going in there is Hatcher. Hatcher takes a swipe at it, puts it along the boards. Olczyk can't contain it. That comes back into the slot area. A chance. Richter goes down. Koivu was waiting on the far corner. Hämäläinen tapped it in. Not a great clearance from him. And now the Americans. White going in on the backhand side. White turns around, takes a shot. That took a deflection and came back to Waite, and Alatalo picks it up. Alatalo feeds it forward to Palo. Koivu is dropping back. Richter makes the save, and the bouncing puck is picked up by Ed Olczyk. Olczyk feeds it through. The Americans now with one man forward. That's Amonte. Amonte goes back, waiting for a little support. A change of personnel out there for both teams. A long pass through, and the whistle blows as Johnson mixes it up with Villasiren.
Villasiren, an old war horse. He's been around. Played for the Finnish team for a number of years. Saw action with Pittsburgh and Minnesota in the NHL. Certainly capable of handling himself.
Team's getting set now for this face-off. Taking a bit of time out there. Right on the line, Sarakoski comes through. Plant tried to muscle his way forward. Less than 4 minutes on the clock. And it could it be that the Americans end up with another tie. Beers over to the far side. The Americans with everyone forward, a chance to drop back, and that's a giveaway. Sarakoski finds Witkowski. Witkowski breaks over the red, hits the blue. The poke check is there, but Ria Järvi picks it up, backhands it in over the edge of the goal. Witkowski is there to put it behind the goal to Sarakoski. Weinrich hit him, but Sarakoski still came up with the puck. The Finns set it up yet again. That trickles in front of the goal, and the Americans now along the near side. Plant is trailing, and the Americans go for a line change as Drury put it through. Witkowski brings it out slowly along the boards, takes the big shot over the net, and he goes for a change. Plant on the far side, still out there on the ice. Tikkanen runs interference, slows that one down. Jutila leaves it there for Laukkanen, who's back on the ice. The Americans now with 2 men buzzing around the net. Misunderstanding there as that goes over to Korpisalo. Kept in, Laukkanen is there, Turcotte. And the Americans have to go deep once again as that comes over to Hauer. Hauer leaves it for Modano. Modano has got the speed as he gets away from Tikkanen. Fed up nicely to Turcotte. He takes the shot. That's wide of the far post. Turcotte so deadly on that wing. Fed all the way deep into the corner. Hauer will have to go back. He pumps it over to the far side, and the time is ticking down. Both teams hearing the 2-minute announcement out there. The Americans coming up on the right-hand side. Modano over the blue line, avoids the offside, going in quickly as Amonte, but Hämäläinen picks it up first. Amonte can't control that, but it's still kept in the zone. Waits, gets it right across. The tip is there. Olczyk just couldn't get enough lumber on it. Alatalo breaks one way as that comes onto this side. A chance for Palo. Hatcher hammers him in the woodwork. Koivu backhands it in. Looking from number 15 there, Alatalo. Burt is all over Alatalo. Alatalo backs into Burt, running interference. The shot comes in. That took a deflection. It's still kept in the zone, and the Americans under pressure. Hatcher skates away from Alatalo. Feeds it up slowly on the right side, and the Americans will go for a change. That goes all the way down the ice, and that had to be a close icing call. In the National Hockey League, you can be 2 or 3 feet on the wrong side of the red line, but here they're calling everything by the book.
Time is running out. Score is still tied. Both teams very deliberately taking their time with the line changes. The coach is having a good word with the players as they're going out and coming off the ice.
It's coming down to the time when you're going to see the players peeling the tape off their sticks. Timeout has been called, and Tim Taylor brings in Turcotte and Podine and company. Matikainen calls his boys to the bench. 1-1 the score, less than 2 minutes on the clock. The 30-second timeout has expired. Matikainen has said what he wants to say. No let up in the support for the Finnish team. Confirmation there of the scoreline here in the third period. No one has left this rink, that's for sure. Well, I hope you're enjoying this one at home. It's live on Eurosport from Dortmund in Germany. You're going to see more of this, I hope, throughout the week and the final week leading up to May 2nd, when the big final will be held in Munich. If you like ice hockey, if you like it close and hard hitting, then stay with us. The officials directing Hauer out of the box. Sarakoski is allowed to stay. Turcotte is there. That comes back. Beers can't get a handle on it. Ria Järvi is hooked up by Beers. That comes right out front. The shot from Vitakoski steered into the corner, and the Americans now pick it up. They collide. That's trickled out over the line. Fortunate for the Americans, they collided. That could have been disastrous. The Finns now coming forward. Some good stuff from Finland here in the dying seconds. Ria Järvi couldn't hang on to that. Sarakoski has an opportunity now. He feeds it along the line. Sarakoski from behind the goal. He's got Vitakoski out front. Sarakoski tries to work his way out front, and the Americans happy just to get it out of the zone. Modano can't bat it down. Turcotte can. Turcotte bouncing that forward. Whoa, what kind of skills were those? Turcotte and Modano up there with Podine. Podine takes a swipe at it, drives it over to this side. 5 seconds on the clock. Will the Americans get a chance to take the shot? I doubt it very much. There goes the buzzer to end the game. Both goaltenders outstanding as it ends in a 1-1 tie.
The Finns with 1 win and 1 draw. The Americans now with a pair of draws in their first 2 games.
Boy, that was exciting.
Finland 1 and USA 1.
So 1-1 the final score. No overtime here. And the Americans now, as you said, Richard, with 2 draws, at least they're getting points out there. They want to get into the Final Four of their group. The Final Four in Group A play against the Final Four in Group B. The top team that finishes in Group A will play against the 4th team in B, and so on. And now we're going to have a look at the man of the match for both teams. Go ahead, pick them before they're called.
I'd have to go with Ketterer for Finland. I think he played an outstanding game in the goal, and I'd probably take Amante from the Americans for his work.
Team Finland, number 13, Markus Ketterer.
Well, you're batting 1,000 out there so far. Markus Ketterer, definitely one of the stars of this Finnish team. There were so many guys on the Finland side that played well. I thought Jutala, except for his 4 minutes in penalties, had a strong game. Palo was quick up front. Korpisalo looked good at times, and Tikkanen never stopped skating. Mike Modano gets the starting nod for the USA side. This guy has played 2 excellent hockey games in the 2 times that he's been on the ice for the Americans. So that's the way it ends. Remember, we've got a couple of games coming up tomorrow. So stay with us on Eurosport. It'll be Germany against the French, and then the Czechs against Norway. 2 weeks of ice hockey on Eurosport. Lots of action to come. We hope you enjoyed this one. From Richard Beaupre and myself, Paul Ferguson. Bye for now.
The World Ice Hockey Championships was brought to you by Reebok.